Ike.
Yes.
My argument with Elliott about the Eagles' offense last year set me off. I was thinking about it a lot.
Hadn't let that go yet.
No, I have not. Because I went back home and I did a little bit of research, so on and so forth. And I came to the conclusion that everyone is saying this year, and I think fairly so, that Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson have to actually prove something in the playoffs this year. Mm-hmm. That their legacy is somehow defined by how they perform this particular year. They both have great teams. They haven't quite done it in the playoffs. And to me, Jalen Hurts is in that same category. Jalen Hurts has to prove in these playoffs that he is more than just a guy, that he is the guy for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think largely the playoffs are on him. See, what Elliott said to me yesterday was, I said that the offense wasn't quite as good as I expected this year. Wasn't good enough. And he told me they were great, even though they were 8th in points scored this year. So just to lay out the numbers real quick, the Eagles, when Jalen Hurts played the full game this year, were 8th in points scored in the NFL per game at like 26.5. So I want to compare that. So 26.5 point game. 2021, Jalen's first full season playing for the Eagles, they scored 25.3 points per game. So within 1 point of this year's stacked team. 2022, the Eagles were 3rd in the league in points per game at 28.2. Last year, we ranked 8th this year. Last year, the Eagles ranked 7th in points per game. As far as DVOA goes, it's the worst passing season of Jalen's career. The offense should be better. We have the best running back in the league, one of the best wide receiver duos in the league, a Pro Bowl level tight end, the best offensive line in the league. And Jalen this playoffs needs to prove he's more than just a guy. Because for the last 2 weeks, I've seen other guys step in, whether it's Kenny Pickett or Tanner McKee, and the offense looked fine to me, actually. Mm-hmm. And I haven't noticed no discernible the upgrade or downgrade going from Jalen to these other guys. So for me, these playoffs are on Jalen. He has to prove that he is more than just a guy. This is a big one for him.
So here, and first of all, I'm not surprised that we have this topic today because I knew the Elliott hour yesterday. It wasn't the last time we were going to hear from that argument that was being made.
Right.
I sort of knew that as it was going on. I'll say this. You're not completely off base with a something to prove thing. But I don't. Let me see if I can talk out of both sides of my mouth here. I don't think it's going to come in the form that you wanted to come in. Or, I think you wanted to come in. In other words, I don't need Jalen to put the team on his back and go out and throw for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns a game. I'm just giving you arbitrary numbers there. I don't necessarily need him to do that, but I do need him to give me another playoff run so that 22 isn't the only playoff run that we're constantly talking about, right? He's been in the playoffs every year of his career, and 2 of those 3 years in the playoffs has not ended well. Right? And I mean, in horrible fashion, the games that they lost down in Tampa. So from that sense, I do want to see him play well this postseason and prove that 22 wasn't an aberration. But here's the thing, Spike. As tempting as that may be, as tempting as that Pittsburgh Steelers game made everybody with the passing game, this is a run-based offense. We go to Pound Town every week. We give the ball to Saquon, and we play great defense. That's what we do. I need Jalen to be an efficient game manager, and I don't mean that in a negative connotation. I really do not. I need him to be a point guard out there, distribute the ball when it needs to be in the air, but more importantly, I need Kellen Moore and Coach Sirianni to understand we're riding 26. That's who you go with. That's who you go with. Now, I need Jalen to be the steward of the offense. That's what I need him to do. That's what I need him to do. It usually leads to us winning. And that's what I'm going to hang my hat on. But again, it's only been 1 year that it's done that. So while I think I agree with the premise of what you're saying, which is he needs to have a good postseason, this postseason. And that needs to, because I don't want to speak for you, but because of the other 2 playoff losses, 2-3 record or what have you, there's still some doubt there in your mind?
There's total doubt.
Okay,
there's total doubt there. I mean, his playoff. Look, Lamar Jackson's playoff record is 2-4. Everybody craps on Lamar Jackson for that. Well, Jalen's playoff record is 2-3, and the two teams that he beat were the New York Giants, who were an aberration, not a great team, and then the San Francisco 49ers, who were on their fourth quarterback that year.
Yep.
So it was not an impressive playoff run. He gets credit for it, but he also gets credit for the losses that happened as well. And I don't need
was not good in the Tampa games.
Was not good in the Tampa games.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing: I don't need him to throw 40 times a game for this to happen. I need this team not to run from passing, which is the difference between what they do and what Baltimore does and Buffalo does and even Detroit does. When we talk about these other great teams, even Green Bay, these other really good offenses in the NFL, Washington, these other really good offenses in the NFL, they run plenty. Baltimore runs more than they pass. Detroit runs more than they pass. Buffalo runs more than they pass. There's a lot of this. None of them run from the passing game the same way that we run from the passing game. So I don't need him to throw 35 or 40 times. What I need him to do is throw efficiently enough for us to not walk out of the first quarter going, what's going on here again? I need him to be good enough to where we're not at halftime on Sunday down 13-3 because the offense hasn't started clicking yet. We have the number one defense in the NFL. We have one of the top 3 wide receiver duos in the NFL. One of the best 3 offensive lines in the NFL. This year, the best running back in the NFL. I'm confident in all of those things. The one thing I'm not confident in is can this team pass the ball effectively in the playoffs? And they're not going to be able to run from it all playoffs. If they go to the Super Bowl, they're not going to be able to run from having thrown the ball.
It's going to come a time he's going to have to throw the ball, just like it did in 22. Like he had to throw the ball against the Chiefs.
And again, I know the last 2 games this week, or the last 2.5 games this week, they're not playoff games, but I saw other guys come in here and score points with this Philadelphia Eagles team. By the way, at a better rate than they scored with Jalen. Now, I would rather have Jalen than Kenny Pickett. I would rather have Jalen than Tanner McKee. Absolutely. But I think what they showed is there are enough tools on this team to have a really good offense no matter who's taking the snaps. What I need Jalen to be is better than anyone who's taking the snaps. I need him to be better than that. He projects as better than that. We believe he's better than that. He got paid as better than that. He needs to be better than that. 215-592-9494. Does Jalen Hurts have something to prove these playoffs? Because for me, he does. We're also going to have a next question today. Okay. It's Elvis's birthday. So happy birthday, Elvis.
Who?
Elvis Presley.
I know.
Come on, man. Elvis had great hair. He had cool hair.
He did.
So for next question, we just want somebody who's got great hair. Great hair. Do you want to start us off, Buzz? Do you have somebody who had great hair? Great hair. Could be past, present, future.
So someone who worked on their hair more than they worked on their game when they were here in Philadelphia. Remember Andrew Bynum's hair?
That
get
was
the perms.
That was not great hair.
That was not great hair.
He would get a perm. It always looked stylish.
Turner, I don't know what the hell
one
he had.
side. Well, because I think he had the cornrows on one side. Remember that one picture, and he had.
Did he leave the pick in?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, then he had the one picture.
Yes.
Where he had the mushroom, right? He had the bowl cut.
Yeah. I don't know if that's great hair.
Yeah.
It was memorable hair.
It was definitely memorable hair. Ike, somebody with great hair.
Somebody with great hair.
Yeah.
It's a tough one for me, Spike. It's a tough one for me. But I think I'm going to go with Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck has good hair.
That's good. Well, I mean, in
It's
the young
thick.
Ben Affleck.
Yes.
Thick hair, yeah.
Good thick head
That's
of hair.
the kind of hair I'm thinking of. Now, I was going to go with some brothers with Jerry curls and this and that and the other, but I'm not doing that.
You're going to get called out for not doing it.
I don't even care. The delegation got to roll because that's kind of embarrassing, some of those hairstyles.
Okay. So mine, I actually brought this guy up yesterday when we were doing the top 5 of 5 with Fran. Mine is going to be, no, he doesn't have it anymore. I think he's bald now. But Andre Agassi, in his heyday, had great hair. He had a great head of hair. He was defined by the headband, the sneakers, and then the hair. Andre Agassi had great hair.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing was when he actually went bald, it was like a shock to a lot of people.
Big thing. Yeah, a big thing.
Like, hold on. Agassi shaved all his hair off?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
He was actually known for his hair.
For his hair. All right.
Now I got more people popping in my head.
For hair? Do you want to give one more?
Yeah, one more. One more.
All right.
Ric Flair.
Oh, Ric Flair has
Come
awesome
on, man.
hair.
That's a good one right there.
Legendary
hair, right?
head of hair. And he kept it into his later years. He still got hair. Yeah, he still got hair. I don't know if it's thinning in the back at all, but he's still got hair.
Can I make a prediction that Elliot's going to say himself if we ask him?
Ah, for sure.
Elliot has good hair. Elliot doesn't have great hair.
But he thinks he has great hair.
He has good hair.
Jack also thinks he has great hair.
Nah, Jack doesn't have great hair.
Jack's got a 5-year-old haircut.
Yeah, Jack's got...
He said as much.
What I would say about Jack is Jack has there's potential for great hair there. It's like a thick head of hair, but I wouldn't classify Jack as having great hair.
All right. So far be it for me to be the one that is the authority on the hair.
Yeah.
But what makes
great hair?
Great hair, yeah.
It's sort of like...
See, for me, I'm just looking at people with hair, and I'm like, yeah, that's a good head of hair, man.
So literally anyone.
I'm like, yeah, that's a good head of hair,
I think it's just something you feel. It's sort of like, for me, Hall of Fame isn't about numbers. It's about, you ask me, are they a Hall of Famer? And it's a gut test.
Yeah, you know it.
Does that person have great hair or not? It's just like, it's a gut test for me. It's the quality of the hair. It's the styling. Sometimes it's the length, but it's not always the length.
Right, so it's not necessarily the length.
Right.
It's like you said, the styling.
It could be just the styling. It could have a short head of hair, but it's a great head of hair.
Right.
All right.
Gotcha. Okay.
215-592-9494. Does Jalen Hurts have anything to prove in these playoffs? And next question today, and the best one, you're an afternoon show foxhole guy. In honor of Elvis Presley's birthday, give us someone with a great head of hair.